Most contractors believe that growth will solve their problems. More revenue should create more cash. More employees should create more capacity. A fuller schedule should make the company more stable. I helped grow a plumbing company with both new construction and service divisions from 4 million to 40 million. Production grew from approximately 200 homes a year to 1,750 homes a year. Annual service revenue grew from 2 million to 20 million. We reached that scale in approximately 3 years and with about 200 employees. The most important lesson was not how to grow. It was this: growth does not remove operational weakness. It multiplies it. In this video, I will show you the 3 things that begin to break when a contractor grows. I will also show you what must replace depending on the owner, the hero employees, or the constantly changing schedule. I was the director of operations during that time of growth. From the outside, the company looked successful because it was. We had more customers, more purchasing power, more employees. We also had more work and a much larger organization. But growth also required more handoffs, materials, and decisions to coordinate. It increased the number of schedules, crews, and builders that we had to coordinate. It also created more opportunities for things to go wrong. In a small company, people can compensate for a weak system. The owner remembers what needs to happen. The dispatcher knows which crew can handle a difficult customer. The warehouse employee remembers what job is missing a fixture or a part. The field supervisor knows when a builder isn't actually ready. That supervisor may know that the house is ready even when the schedule says that it is. The business operates on memory, relationships, and text messages. It depends on a few people who know how everything works. That can feel efficient because it's fast and informal. However, it does not scale. The first thing that breaks is coordination. In a small company, the schedule can be a reasonably accurate picture of what will happen. As the company grows, the schedule often becomes a list of promises. Everyone hopes that these promises will happen. A job may be on the schedule before the materials have been confirmed. Plans may have changed, and the crew may have outdated or old information. The builder may say that the site is ready even when there's another trade in the way. Customers may have not made the final selection. A permit, inspection, or approval may be missing. Putting a job on tomorrow's schedule does not mean that it's ready for tomorrow. If materials are missing, the crew cannot finish the job. If information is wrong, the crew cannot complete the job. If the site isn't ready, the crew cannot complete the job. The schedule tells you when you want to complete the work. Readiness tells you whether the work can actually be completed. When a company confuses those 2 ideas, this becomes a company-wide problem and isn't relegated to just one job. The crew arrives and waits. Someone eventually calls the office. The supervisor gets pulled into the problem. Warehouse receives an urgent request. Purchasing expedites something. Another job gets moved. A customer has to be called. The schedule gets rebuilt around a failure that was caused before the crew ever left the yard. One unready job creates work for the entire company. The second thing that breaks is capacity. More precisely, what breaks is our understanding of what is capacity. Most contractors measure capacity by counting the number of people. Imagine that we have 10 plumbers and each one of them works 8 hours a day. We tell ourselves that we have 80 hours of capacity, but hours worked is not the same thing as productive hours. Your best plumber may spend half their day driving to a supply house or waiting on information. They may spend time looking for a part on the back of their truck or inside of your warehouse. They may have to return to an unfinished job or fix a job that was caused by incomplete information. You still pay for all of that time, but the customer did not receive 8 hours of value. I call this the 50% problem. The company may appear to be fully staffed and have a full schedule, but half of the day is eaten up in missing information or materials. That is why hiring can ultimately disappoint you. The system may send 10 plumbers into jobs that aren't ready. Adding an additional plumber doesn't fix the system. It gives the system another skilled person whose time it can waste. Materials were a major part of this lesson for me. We eventually reduced material costs by 15%. That represented about $2.5 million in savings. But the lesson wasn't simply negotiating lower purchase prices. Purchasing is connected to production. Supplier strategy is connected to field productivity. Inventory accuracy is connected to field productivity, whether a field can finish the job or not. A part can appear inexpensive on a purchasing report. That part becomes very expensive when it stops a field crew because it's missing. It becomes expensive when it creates another trip. It becomes very expensive when it leaves a job open. The lowest price per part rarely is the lowest operating cost. The third thing that breaks is decision making. As the company grows, more problems and exceptions appear. Those decisions begin accumulating around people that people trust most. Usually that means the owner, ops manager or leader, or field supervisor. It may mean that one employee who has been around forever that knows everything. These people become heroes. They solve problems quickly. They answer phone calls after hours. They remember the details when no one ever bothers to write them down. They know which customers need special attention. They know which builders cannot be trusted when they say that the site is ready. The company begins depending on them. Eventually, the hero becomes the constraint. It does not happen because the person is failing. It happens because the company overwhelms that person with too many decisions. No one individual can process that many decisions well. The owner may start the day with full intentions of working on the business. Instead, the owner spends the day approving exceptions, answering questions, or moving work. The owner solves problems that should have been solved somewhere else. The company may grow by 10 times its revenue, but its decision patterns, its decision making is still stuck in the pattern of a smaller company. So what has to replace the heroics? The answer begins with 3 basic operating mechanisms. The first mechanism is a truthful description of what is actually ready. Before a job reaches the field, the company needs to have clear answers to a few questions. Do we have correct and complete information? Are required materials available? Is the site actually ready for us? Is the customer or builder ready for us? Do we have the correct crew confirmed? Have required approvals been completed? Don't get me wrong, this does not mean you can't plan for future work. Planning is always allowed, but work should only be released to the field when it is 100% ready. The second mechanism is visible blockage. When a job is not ready, it becomes blocked, and the office needs to know about that as soon as possible while there's still time to act. A crew may return at the end of the day having been blocked for most of the day. If that was the office's first warning, the office was not managing current work. It was reading history. A growing company needs to have a mechanism that exposes blocked work immediately. The process must not encourage people to hide the problem, nor developing a long form that has to be filled out by the field. The third mechanism is clear ownership. Who owns the material problem? Who owns missing information? Who can decide whether the job should continue? Who can decide if the job should be reassigned? Who can decide if the job should be stopped? Which decisions genuinely need the owner's attention? Accountability does not mean blaming one person when the system fails. It means making the responsible person and the next action clear. That clarity must exist before everyone starts to call our hero to make a decision. If your company is feeling increasingly chaotic, I want you to ask yourself the following 3 questions. How much of the work that you have sold could a field crew actually start tomorrow? Avoid counting everything that's simply sitting on the schedule. Count only the work that is actually ready. How many jobs are open right now because they're waiting on something? Some jobs are waiting on materials, information, or a decision. Some decisions are waiting on other trades or a customer to make a decision. Other jobs are waiting on a builder or an inspection. How many operating decisions still require you or that one hero, indispensable employee to make? These answers will reveal if the company has capacity or simply activity. Growth did not create these problems. They simply magnified them and multiplied them. And I'm not suggesting to stop growing. The answer is to develop a system that can carry the growth. The system that tells the truth about readiness. The system must protect skilled capacity. That same system cannot require a hero to hold everything together. In the next video, we'll discuss why a contractor can have its best revenue month ever and still struggle to make payroll. Booked work is not the same as completed work. Completed work is not the same as invoiced work. Invoiced work is not the same as collected cash. If that sounds familiar, that's the next conversation we need to have. If you are building a growing trade company, this channel is for you. Like and subscribe for practical lessons that you can use in the real world.